I looked crazy during the ballet audition.
Where you had audition ballet?
Yeah, I never did ballet.
Pliés and...
Yeah, I didn't know what none of that was. Like, I remember being at the bar. So what they do is, like, ballet teachers, what they do is they do this thing where they're like, so you have a rondejambe and a or like a plie, and so they do things with their hands. Like, if they're ballet teachers, like, they're older, right? So they don't know how to do it themselves. They'll be like, okay, rondejambe. They'll do this. This is supposed to be your leg. I was in an audition, and so when the music started, I started doing it with my hands instead of my legs.
Like you was mimicking the teacher?
Yeah, that's how I didn't know.
Bad,
That's
That's bad, bro.
Hey, let this shit ride for a minute, man. If you got a dream, you gotta go get it. It ain't gonna be easy. It's a lonely road, very lonely road. But you gotta push through and figure it out. Hey.
Hey, what up, though? You already know what time it is, man. It's your boy REL O'Neal, and we here with another episode of
REL Talk.
Hey, come on, man. Today, we got a special friend in the building, man. We got one of my brothers coming straight out of North Carolina. You know what I'm talking about? I'm excited to have him in the building today. We're going to have a dope conversation. This brother has danced with some of the most influential, biggest artists in the world. Just to name a few: Justin Bieber, we got Tyga, we got Kendrick, we got The Weeknd. He's currently on tour with Jenny, straight out of the pop group. What's the name of the pop group?
Blackpink.
Yeah. He's doing spot dates right now, man. Also transitioning as a dope actor. So I please want y'all to put y'all hands together for my brother, Jay Nate.
Wow.
You feel me? Please give it up for him, man. He's in the building. You know what I'm saying?
Wow.
We need it. We need to give him his flowers. You know what I'm saying?
Wow.
What's good, brother?
That's an introduction, bro.
Yeah, man.
I appreciate it, man. That's a blessing. Man. Hey, man, shout out to my brother REL, first of all. This is a brother to me. He's been a brother since what 6 years?
Yeah, 6-7 years.
6-7 years, man. Since I worked at Buffalo Wild Wings.
Yeah.
As a server, bro. When I first moved out here, baby.
Buffalo no more.
I ain't at Buffalo no more, baby. But now we here, man. He's been a ride or die for me, man. So thank you for having me on your podcast,
oh,
brother.
Man, it was an honor. It was an honor for me to sit down with you, only because I think where you are right now in life, in the industry, in your career is really dope and influential for people who are in your same position that are making a transition and understanding how to use their art and being able to build on that on every platform. So I think it's dope to sit down and talk to you about this, man. So let's get into it, man.
Get into it, baby.
Just so you know, my podcast is based on challenging the mind. Okay. I always say that we are here to try to expand our minds. We're here to open up ourselves and try to be at this process of using our full capacity, right?
Yeah.
So the way I like to start my shows off is I like to say something or ask a question or maybe just give you a thought or an idea that may challenge the mind, right?
Yeah.
And let's see where we go from there. But I just like to open, I like to open my guest up, man, with something to just get their mind, rumbling. You feel me? You know what I'm talking about? All right, so check this, man. What I got for you is... I got something for you. Check this. What is the answer to this question?
Okay. Is it what?
What's the answer to this question?
What question is that?
The question I'm asking you.
What's the answer to this question? Yes?
No, what is the answer to this question?
Gee, I don't know. What do you mean? What the question is?
Right. What is the answer to the question? You saying the answer.
Yes.
No. What is the answer to this question?
What?
Thank you.
Oh, thank God.
Come on, man. We got, you know what I'm saying? Give it up for Jay.
Yeah,
man. He figured it out at some point.
Hey, because I was
figured it out at some point.
I was trying to make sure y'all didn't think I was too. So I had to make sure I didn't know what the answer was. That's what it was.
It's all good. We got there. Cool. You know what I'm saying? I just like to do that, man, just so my guests can kind of open up a little bit, get your mind wondering.
Yeah.
Get you working.
That is hilarious.
Yeah.
I love it.
So, Jay, man, you are from North Carolina.
Yes.
What part exactly?
Winston-Salem. North Carolina. We call it the Trey-Fo.
The Trey-Fo.
The Trey-Fo.
Why y'all call it the Trey-Fo?
It comes up with it's like 3 different triads. They call it the triad. So it's Winston-Salem, Greensboro. I think it was some Greensboro, Kernersville, but. Sorry. When I talk when I talk about North Carolina, my accent already come out.
It's all good.
No, but yeah, man, called it Trey Foe. I'm from a 336. North Carolina. Grew up playing basketball. The basketball state. We got UNC. We got Duke. We got NC State. We got Wake Forest.
Yeah, okay.
So we just take pride in all that. But yeah, man, grew up Southern boy.
You are you don't have any brothers and sisters, right? Single child?
I am the only. Yeah, I'm the only child.
So how was that for you growing up as a single child in North Carolina?
Man, it was. I mean, to be honest, it was dope. I loved it just because. Well, of course, with the black family, you got hella cousins, a lot of cousins.
Yeah.
But growing up the only child, always grew up extroverted. I know some people say single, only children could be a little weird, but I had like a lot of cousins.
Right.
I just got the same to go back to like my personality, man. I just watch movies. I just spend a lot of time by myself. And so when you spend time by yourself, you get to really know yourself. You know what I'm saying? So I just really I remember being in my room watching TV shows and making myself laugh and just spending time by myself. But it was cool to grow up with co-parents. So my parents never got married. Not to put their business out like that. Sorry.
No, that's all good. Good.
Yeah, but they I don't know them, but love my parents. They still alive, bless God. But yeah, man, they co-parented me. My mom, a Christian lady. My dad, he wasn't necessarily a Christian guy, but I grew up with both. Two sides of we had my mom who believed in God and gave me faith, but I had to grow up with my dad who was more of a realist. He's very logical. He's very you got to put the work in. My mom's all about faith. So coming from a household where it's like your dad saying you got to put the work in, and your mom saying you got to have faith, I put both those together, and kind of that's what made me who I am. So it's good to have both sides where it's I'm not going to just always depend on my faith. I got to put the work in too, always.
Right.
So that was good to grow up in. But also, it got a little lonely being an only child. So I had hella cousins come over, do sleepovers. You know what I mean? And usually, some people say only children are very selfish or something. But my mom said I was very hospitable. You know what I mean? I was excited in school. I was very hyper. I was excited to be around other kids because I didn't have any kids, at my house.
Yeah.
So when I got in schools, I was just like, oh. Children, like my friends, you know what I mean? But I feel like it just kind of made me who I am today. And
How did that though, and you being an only child, right, turn into you figuring out that dance was the thing that was going to grow you as a human being coming from a place like that? I don't know how dance was received in North Carolina. When I was coming up in Detroit, in my time, people wasn't really respecting dance. All we did was ballroom, and that was cool enough. But if you danced, people thought you was a little,
for sure.
You know what I'm saying?
Sure.
So how did that happen for you and you finding your path with dance?
I mean, to be honest, it kind of started in church. Everything for me started in church.
Okay.
Growing up, my mom, just put me in the dance. This boy got a lot of energy. Let's put him in, basketball, but also let's put him in, the church dance so he don't be in church all fidgety because I was very hyper. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So she was like, let's put him in the dance, the dance team. And so I guess from a little age, the dance teacher just kind of knew I had a gift. From a young age, she just saw I was just a shiner. She was like, when you're on stage, I just come alive.
Sick.
And so growing up, in church, I was just I wouldn't say I was the lead, but I kind of naturally became the lead of the dance team just as a young age. There were people older than me, but they would ask me for dance moves. But I grew up, though, to be honest, one of the reasons why I did become a dancer is because I remember seeing Chris Brown's Take You Down music video when I was in 6th grade.
6th grade?
6th grade. I saw Take You Down.
Take You Down,
Take You Down. 6th grade. I was in 6th grade.
Okay.
What about you?
No, I'm just, it's the age. He was,
no.
He was in 6th grade. But I mean, if it inspired you, it inspired you. I'm not.
No. It wasn't about that. It was more about it was more about seeing how this, straight black man was confident in his dancing and confident in how his body moved and not being judged. From the South, to be honest, I came from playing basketball, but also it's I also come from the church mindset where it's back in the day, it wasn't acceptable to it was very closed-minded, conversations weren't the conversations we were having today. I did have, once I wanted to become a dancer, I did kind of shy away from it, just because I didn't want anybody thinking necessarily that I was, I guess, gay. I will say that
I feel
because
that, yeah.
and that's for me. I don't have anything against anybody homosexual or anything, but where we come from in the South back in 2006, 7, it's not what it was today. So as a straight black man growing up, you have these thoughts of like, dang, like what people gonna think about me. But also it was a God-given gift, so I just naturally kind of fell into it.
Yeah.
But yeah, man, it's just, growing up in church. And so I started doing that. And then in school, I was watching music videos. And then I was always the guy that like Dougie. So that was my thing.
That was your way in.
And that was my way in. Once I found out how to Dougie in the school dances,
Yeah.
they would be like, hey, my homeboys would be like, hey, yo, Jared, get in the circle just so they could get the girls. They wanted me to dance. So the girls are coming up.
Okay.
So they'd be like, they'd be like, teach me how to Dougie. That's the new one. What's it called? What's the one? Oh, my Dougie.
Yeah,
that's the old one, my Dougie.
Yeah.
So that's the one that like, and so I would do that in the middle of the circle. And that kind of gave me the confidence. I'm like, oh, I might be nice at this if other people are receiving it. And it started from that. Middle school, I just started doing it naturally and just started dancing in my room, watching Michael Jackson, watching Chris Brown, watching Justin Timberlake. I never took any dance classes my whole life.
Okay.
No natural dance class. I just freestyled in my living room, watched music videos. And
so in other words, it's a God-given talent.
Yeah.
That's the best way for you to describe it. No, you good. It happens. You're an important man.
Yeah.
You gotta take phone calls.
Come on now.
But no, so that's a God-given talent
Yeah.
that you realize from your friends growing up and your peers. I guess I would say that allowed you to realize this is something that you could actually use to kind of share with the world as far as what your gift is. They gave you that confirmation.
Oh, 100%.
Where you're from.
Yeah. My friends, like, they never, and it's like, my friends never, like, they never, like, picked on me about it. They, like, knew that it was, like, something I had to do. They was like, dang, bro, like, you actually nice at this. You got real people around you. They're going to let you know that, hey, you probably should take this serious, bro, because you nice at it, And not a lot of people in the South, like, were, like, as far as artists and black artists and, like, it wasn't really an important thing. We did have the National Black Theater Festival, which is another conversation we had.
Which I've attended. I love NBTF,
bro.
Yes.
Yeah, in Winston-Salem. So thank God, that was like the timing of me trying to figure myself out as an artist, a black artist, and figuring myself out while as an athlete, but also transitioning into this artist, going to the National Black Theater Festival, seeing all these successful black artists, you know what I mean? And just seeing them like on stage and them being proud. I think that was God's timing of like being like, oh, this is confirmation that you should be doing this. And it was very inspiring, bro.
That's
beautiful. Like Denzel Washington's wife would just come there, like just walking around.
That's sick. Yeah.
Yeah, bro. I was just
that's
like,
sick.
Oh shoot, yeah.
So how did that transition you into getting to LA and making that decision to say you grew up in North Carolina, you were inspired by a lot of your friends, they encouraged you, and also kind of gave you that momentum to realize that you're 100%. Really good at dance.
Yeah.
So when does the decision happen to say, okay, well now I'm going to move to the biggest city in the world and try to make this dream a possibility when you know there are thousands of other people here doing the same thing?
Yeah. I mean, it kind of comes from, I keep going back to it. It's literally God. Because I tell people I didn't choose to dance. I think dance chose me. I think God made like dance be like, hey, bro, this is what you going to do. And so I was just rolling with the punches. You know what I mean? But it was in high school where, I played basketball. I told you I played basketball in high school. And I was nice, but I wasn't like that nice. Where it's like, at some point you got to realize like
bro, sit down.
It's like it's all good. And like for me, like being like respectfully being a Leo, I like if I do something, I want to like be exceptional. At it, you know what I mean? So I was like, oh, these dudes getting picked in 9th grade, and I'm over here. You know what I'm saying? I'm on JV varsity, but I'm not going nowhere. So I'm like, all right, what else can I do? But then something happened where I dislocated my shoulder before my senior year, and that really hurt me. And so I remember being in the hospital, and I was like, I couldn't audition, or I say audition now because I'm a dancer, but I couldn't try out for the senior varsity team. And so I was like, dang, my life's over. Basketball is all I know. My mom was like, no, you got dance. You're good at dance. And so after that, I did a talent show in high school. My junior year, I did a talent show. I just freestyled. It was like a school talent show. Yeah. My mom was like, you should do it. And I was like, all right. I'm used to freestyling. I didn't take no class. I just freestyle. I just put a song on. I'll listen to a song the same time, like thousands of times. I'll listen to the musicality of it. I'll know exactly what the beats are, and I'll just let my body flow. And they were like, "Can we see your freestyle or can we see your choreography?" I was like, "Nah, it's not choreography. I'm just gonna flow."
Hmm.
I did the audition for the. They was like, "Oh yeah, you got to be the closer."
Hey.
I was like, "Oh
Hey.
shoot!" I was like,
Okay.
"Closer." I was like, "Okay, that's a lot of pressure." They was like, "Nah,
Yeah.
you're the closer." So I did it. Right after I did it, man, I remember his name, David Nash, school guidance counselor in high school. He came up to me. I remember like everybody coming up to me like, "Oh my God, you're so good." It was like a standing ovation.
Yeah.
Like I just left my body when I was doing it. I didn't know what I was doing. I was nervous, but I just
Yeah.
danced. And I remember everybody in the foyer, like where everybody says thank you. He's like fighting through people to get to me. And it's like the white guy, David Nash. Shout out to David Nash, man. You changed my life.
Shout out David Nash,
Yeah,
man. He
man.
changed this man's life.
Yeah, man. He came up to me. He was like, "I'm sorry, Mr. Smith." He was like, "My name's David Nash. I know you see me around school." He was like, "But I don't know what you want to do after high school or what you want to do in life." He was like, "But I know dance is what you need to be doing."
Hey.
He looked me in my eyes and I was like, "Okay." He was like, "I want you to like come to me next Monday. Let's set up a meeting so I can help you get on this path to like figuring out who you are as an artist." And I was like, "All right." So next, he put me in dance classes my senior year.
Oh, okay.
With all girls, like
Okay.
dance classes. Like, can you imagine? Like,
I get it.
Yeah. I mean, it was it was interesting. It was just like I was like, okay, what are people gonna think of me going into these dance classes?
Right.
You know what I mean?
And you felt that there would have been a sense of judgment?
Oh, 100%.
Yeah.
Yeah, 100%. It was like just I was the only guy in the dance classes. Respectfully, back in the day, I was like two guys. Well, they were they were gay. There was like two of my homies.
Of course.
But I was the only straight guy that was in the dance class, and it was just like, I would kind of just like put my pride aside and like was like whatever. But I did it. I didn't care what people thought about me. But also my homeboys, like they knew they knew like what I was going for. So they didn't really they picked on me, but it wasn't like nothing too
they knew
crazy.
What you were trying to do.
Yeah, they knew I was trying to do and what I was trying to accomplish. So I did that. And then next, my senior year, he's like, "I want you to audition for this school, North Carolina School of Arts." I was like, "What's that?" Bro, this school is 15 minutes from my house. Never knew about it. A conservatory, art school, North Carolina School of Arts. It's a known conservatory. We call it the Juilliard of the South because people don't really know about it.
Okay.
It's got some people that came out of there like Dane DeHaan, Elizabeth Leo from U, Dana McBride. Like, a lot of people came from the school, but they don't really know about it really, But it's got his name now. But yeah, bro, I started, I auditioned for the school, had no type of training.
Mm-hmm.
And my mentor, shout out to Drew Lane, he was one of the people at the table. He didn't know me by then. He saw me audition. Probably I looked crazy during the ballet audition.
Where you had audition ballet?
Yeah, I never did ballet.
Pliés and
yeah, I didn't know what none of that was. Like I remember being at the bar. So what they do is like ballet teachers. What they do is they do this thing where they're like, so you have a rond de jambe and a jet or like a plie, and so they do things with their hands. Like if they're ballet teachers, like they're older, right? So they don't know how to do it themselves. They'll be like, okay, rond de jambe. They'll do this. This is supposed to be your leg. I was in an audition, and so when the music started, I started doing it with my hands instead of my legs.
Like you was mimicking the teacher?
Yeah, that's how I didn't know.
Bad,
That's
bro.
I did. That's
bad, bro. It's bad.
Can you imagine everybody's doing it with their feet, and I was like,
Bro, what?
yeah. So that's how I didn't know what the hell I was doing. And then the contemporary audition came, and it was like kind of Afro contemporary hip hop, and I was like, okay, I can get with this, And then there was the actual audition where you like show your solo. And I freestyled, and shout out to Drew Lane again. Is like my mentor, man. He's like heaven sent, my angel, my big bro. He after my audition, I was like, it was like hip hop, but what I thought was contemporary, and it was like him and two other teachers, Helen Seminole and Brenda Daniels. He was like, "How long you been dancing?" And I was like, "I mean, since I was 7, but I never really taken any classes really." He was like, And then that was it. 4 days later, I got a full ride to Arts Conservatory.
Man, that's a blessing.
4 days later, bro, where people have been, I hear people, and it's crazy because my mom talked to my mom's friend. She was like, "You think Jared's gonna get in? Like, there's people that have been dancing since they were 3 years old, getting into the school." And I was like, just God.
But I always say that though. I think sometimes when you are anointed, I use the word anointed because I think we're all born with a gift, right?
For sure.
But some of us are just is God given. There's no explanation for what someone can do.
Yeah.
It's almost like the example I give a lot of times to basketball, where I'm always saying, like, you know, Carmelo Anthony and Dwayne Wade, and these players are Hall of Famers and great players, but they could still never be Michael Jordan or
Yeah.
LeBron or Kobe or Steph.
Yeah.
Because something that these guys have is just God given. So sometimes, man, God will put you in a position and put the right people around you, because maybe you might not have had the brothers or sisters or all these people that, you know, but God placed somebody in your life, influences, you know, mentors, people that were seeing the potential of who you were.
Yeah.
And it ultimately turned out to be a blessing, because look where you are today.
Facts, brother.
That is a beautiful
Facts,
thing.
brother.
So that in itself, where did the transition to LA happen for you?
So like I said, I went to the school, did my 4 years at ballet for 4 years straight, which is wild. I couldn't even say that. But that was the best 4 years of my life. I feel like I said, like coming from basketball to dance, I feel like I was like in high school, I feel like I was in this weird, you know, space of like, who am I? You know, I know I like basketball, but also I feel like I'm not being my total complete self. And I think dance was what the answer was. And so when I went to this art school, I was like, oh shoot, like I could be silly, goofy, and not feel like I'm too cool. I could just be who Jared is, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so that just really opened up a whole plethora of like my talents and gifts, and just people who like were like-minded artists that you know I probably felt was suppressed growing up in the South and not being a lot of artists. So going to that school 4 years, man. After that, so it was my senior year. My homeboy, he had auditioned for Royal Caribbean cruise ships.
Okay.
And I didn't know what I was going to do after college. I was like, what do I do now? Like, and so he was like, you should audition for this cruise ship. I was like, all right. He helped me audition. I got in. Like, I was in my living room. I had already graduated. I was in my living room, like sitting in my living room on the floor, like, you know, that place where it's like after you go to school, like college, where it's like you're so used to people telling you what to do, what time to get up. You have a schedule. And after college, it's like, all right, now it's all on you. You got to take everything that you've learned and you got to apply it. Like it's called, I think it's called moratorium, where you're like, what am I about to do with my life? Because it's a shock to your system. But thank God I booked the Royal Caribbean joint 2 weeks after graduating. And so I danced on a cruise ship for 8 months after I graduated.
Okay.
So I graduated. So I danced on a cruise ship. That was fun. 21-year-old Jared was on a cruise ship in the islands, you know what I'm saying? For 8 months.
Yeah, I know.
No, but it was fun though. It was fun. It was fun. But
that was the first thing.
That was so funny. No, but after that, I saved money, not as much money as I could, because being 21 and going to these Caribbean islands, you want to just have fun.
Yeah.
And man, after that I got home. And I remember I had been to New York, and I was like, I'm gonna try to go to New York. Went to New York to go visit, and I had a meeting with a dance agency that saw me dance prior to coming to New York.
Oh, sick.
But what's crazy is I had a meeting with it was like Block New York, and the morning I woke up, there was a blizzard.
Wow.
And I was like, they canceled my meeting or something like that. And they canceled the meeting. I was like, okay, because what's crazy is I probably would have been in New York if that blizzard never came, which is crazy, bro. And so I was so excited to be in New York. So I was like, I don't care. I'm just going to go out and walk in the snow and go to Manhattan, because I was like so hyped to be in New York. I was like, I got to make something happen while I'm here. I'm not going to just not, because my flight was like the next day. Went to BDC, Broadway Dance Center, where I had trained before. And I saw my brother, Antoine Troop, who was a choreographer out here, who's one of the people that, him, Antoine Troop, and Kalani Marks, I would say, are two of the people that helped shape and mold me as a professional dancer when I first came out here. But prior to that, I had met Antoine in New York. I ran into him, and I was like, oh, I remember seeing your videos. And so I came up to him asking him, because I'm a person where it's like, if I see you, I'm gonna pick your brain. I don't care who you are. You know what I mean? Like, I want to talk to you. And he was like, I was like, man, I don't know if I want to move to New York or LA. He was like, well, what you want to do? I was like, man, music videos, commercials, like, I want to dance on stage. He was like, yeah, man, you got the look and you want to do that? Come on, just go ahead. You got to come to LA. It's like, you got to do it. And so in my head, it's like, my mom, it's like, I didn't want to move away from my mom. Because, New York is like what? Kind of like what? Like a 2-3 hour, maybe flight. LA is totally far. So I was thinking about family. So I kind of just was like, man, I got to do it. If I don't do it, and I don't have no family West Coast, if I don't do it, nobody else is gonna do it.
Mm-hmm.
Booked that flight, man. Just booked the flight. Had like $3,000 in my account.
Mm.
Booked that one way, and just left.
And just dipped.
Told my mom I was moving. I was like, I gotta go, because I told myself, I was like, if I don't go now, I'm never gonna do it.
Yeah,
Like never. I knew
if
it.
we don't take the chance, it ain't
Nah,
happening.
bro,
Yeah.
I'm never gonna do it. So that happened. So yeah, I just booked the flight, and since then, it was.
It was there.
Boy, that thing was rough when I came back. When I came to LA, boy. Nah, but it was a blessing though. So I came out. Yeah, I just for me, I was just kind of like, why not? I have this thing of like, why not? What's the worst that can happen? You know what I mean? But
it's one of those things when you follow your dreams.
Yeah.
Because you can't be afraid to jump. You can't be afraid to take the
100%.
chance. And it's like now
Yeah.
you're here. You're in LA. And
Yeah.
I've been a part of your journey for some years, man, to be able to realize some beautiful blessings that God has bestowed upon your life.
Mm.
And I think it's been amazing to watch you grow as an artist, to grow as a person. And so the things happen for you. Obviously, you were anointed. You've danced with, like I say, you've done 2 Super Bowls, the Weekend and this recent one, which was Kendrick Lamar Super Bowl,
Shout
which
out
was
to
crazy.
Kendrick, man.
I think that's the most viewed Super Bowl now, if I'm not mistaken, ever. You were a part of that experience.
Yeah. Yeah.
Just really quickly, what was that like for you?
Man, a lot. It was like a lot, like spiritually. I feel like
Yeah.
it was just like, I feel like it didn't really hit me till afterwards, because being in the process, because people don't know, like being in the process, it's like you're just so focused on like who you are as, what can you bring to the table, being focused, being professional, hitting the marks, hitting the steps.
Mm-hmm.
So you don't really like to see the outside. I know on the outside, everybody's like, oh, these signs and what everything meant. We didn't know any of these. We were just in it. We were just focused on hitting this step, But I will say, like, coming to rehearsals every day, and Kendrick Lamar being there every day almost.
Yeah.
Coming in as the the guy he is, like saying what's up to us, chill. Just no hint of ego, no hint of anything, bro.
Yeah.
Like he just came in and said, "What's up? Let's get this done." We practiced. He would look at us. And see certain things and be like, "Okay, he'll give his 2 cents," and like that's it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And, shout out to Charm LaDonna, who I've worked with for like I think like 7 years now.
7 years.
Yeah, she was the choreographer and creative director and all entity of all genius of what you see a lot of behind a lot of artists. So yeah, just being under her and then Kendrick, and they're both from Compton.
Yeah,
right?
Of course. Yeah, so hometown.
That was special in itself. You know, being on the big screen from Compton. I feel like that was very, very, very special to both of them. But just for me being from North Carolina, it was like, okay, how can I really be authentic and feel what they're feeling? How can I be a part of this and not be like, oh, I'm faking? Like, what I mean? I'm not from Compton, but we are Black. We are living the Black experience. How can I exude what they're feeling in the most authentic way?
Yeah.
And so that was just, and then being Black History Month, and then being like 150 all Black people on the Super Bowl field. It was just a beautiful thing, bro.
Moment, man.
Samuel Jackson was come on now. Was
Uncle
the
Sam playing Uncle Sam. That was crazy, man. That was dope.
Yeah, it was dope. It was dope, man. So it was just all together. It's like a spiritual thing. I remember, like, I don't know if y'all remember, like, when he's on the car and like the light is shining on him in the beginning, bro. When I was telling you, like, because I was one of the people that was like coming up late. I didn't come out the car. I was like the people that came up, marched up the stairs.
Yeah.
But just, I think I appreciate not coming out the car for me, just because it hyped us up. Like the people that were waiting to get on stage, we was just watching it. We was just like, woo!
It's time to go.
It was, bro.
It's
when
time
I tell
to
you,
go when them lights come on,
and
baby.
it's crazy because people don't know this, but because I don't like telling people I get emotional, but I did get hella emotional. Like it was like tears welling up in my eyes, and I was like, nah, not right now. Fuck that shit. Like, sorry, but yeah, I was like, let's do this.
Good.
Like,
because sometimes you have to realize this, man. Allow God to do His job.
Mm-hmm.
Moments like that, when we get emotional inside of our gifts, is nothing but God reminding us that we trusted ourselves to be here. We trusted the process. We didn't give up. We didn't give up hope. We continued to believe, and now look where we are. Just because we weren't afraid. We weren't afraid to take the jump. So, especially as Black men, it's beautiful to be emotional inside of your gift, man, because Everybody doesn't get that experience.
Not at
and
all.
a lot of people out here struggling every day to try to get to that next level and they can't. And I think that that's super dope.
Yeah,
but
man.
you being somebody who has done world tours with Justin Bieber, I mean, you've been all over.
Yeah.
In your experience, do you think dancers are treated fairly? Or would you say that this is like any other art form? Because you can look at it as an actor. There are a lot of actors out here who are popping. There's a lot of actors who struggling. A lot of actors ain't getting opportunities.
Yeah.
You could say the same thing about models. You could say the same thing about writers. Anybody that's in this field of art, some stand out and some don't. And you know the struggle. What do you think that is in the dance culture? Do you feel like dancers are treated fairly?
That's a loaded question. No, that's a great question, bro. I'm not gonna speak on any other industry because I'm not in it. So I'm not gonna say dancers don't, because I think every industry goes through their own things. You know what I mean? But specifically for dancers, I feel no. It's been a thing it's been a conversation. You know, it's a known thing. It's been a conversation that's been going on for the past probably like years. I think it's changed. You know, I have big brothers that, you know, that have been in the industry for like 15 years. You know, shout out to Blaze, shout out to Nick Demore, shout out to Michael, shout out to my boy John. Like, I got some big brothers that's, you know, that's been in it for years, and you know, and for them, they've taken it to another level. They've done it. You know what I mean? But I see others that haven't figured it out how to like be on tour and save money and know that yes, we may not be getting, you know, paid, but also what can you do for yourself to like take this experience and make the most out of it, right?
Yeah.
And I think that's the thing as far as like the thing of like the struggling artists, which is unfortunate because for dancers, it's something that's been a thing that I've recognized, and this is why I'm trying to get out of the dance industry for myself. Just because we are athletes, right? I come from basketball. Just put it simple. We do 8 hours a day. I remember for like this, you know, past jobs, 8 hours a day, 6 days a week, just dancing. Dancing is a full body sport, man.
Yeah.
It's a full body sport.
Yeah.
If you know anybody that's danced, like you could just do karaoke and dance a little bit, you'd be winded.
Yeah.
Just moving.
Yeah.
You know, so we're doing that at a high level for 8 hours, you know, and it's like, at what point do we get the respect? Because nowadays we see music videos, we see movies incorporating dance more, which is beautiful, right? Yeah. But it's the thing where it's like dancers don't, and for me, like my dad is a businessman, he's a lawyer, right? So it's like, for me, I look at it, and this is me like now, you know what I mean? What I've recognized as a 30-year-old man and where I am mentally, it's like you have to be a business first. Like I don't say I'm a dancer, I say I'm Jared first. Like I'm a business first. I'm a brand. So respect me as such.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I feel like some dancers don't have that mentality. That's the thing where it's like, oh, we all should like boycott, but some are new dancers and they don't want to boycott and they're scared because they want that dream job. Also, they're, you know, it's just like, it's a thing where I understand it, but that's the gray area of like, you know, it's just like, how do we demand the respect that we deserve? And it's been an ongoing thing, bro. And
do you think TikTok has had some type of hand in the opportunities that dancers have gotten or have not gotten? I'm talking about, you know.
Yeah, bro. Like, I mean, you know, and that's the thing about, with me, it's like, I could have, like, respectfully, I could have easily, in 2020, I remember I started doing like TikTok.
Okay.
And I did a couple dance videos, and some of me was just like, nah. And I don't, but I don't knock anybody that's doing it.
Right, because people are making money off
making
of it,
money,
man.
but also it's for me, and it may be a pride thing, maybe, but also it is a pride thing, maybe because I spent 4 years of my life doing ballet training, doing the work to become this dancer that I am today. And then you got people who ain't never danced a day in their life clapping and doing stuff, and it's like, it's kind of like it feels like a slap in the face to the people who actually trained in dance and took it serious. It's like, you can't go back now. You know what I mean? And some people, and it's okay if some people do. That's your flow. You know what I mean? That's who you are. That's cool. I would never judge anybody, but for me personally, I just couldn't do it. Like I didn't feel right doing it for me. You know, and I do think it's a certain thing where it's like, it's kind of like, I don't think it's dimmed the light. I mean, I think it kind of has dimmed the light on professional dancers. I think it definitely has, because it's like you got these dancers that, you know, people who are on TikTok, they got a lot of followers, and then they're getting asked to be in commercials.
Yeah.
As dancers, but they don't know how to dance, but they're just doing the same thing they do on TikTok. When you could have a professional dancer kill it 1,000 times better.
Yeah.
But because they have the followers, they're like, oh, maybe it's gonna get our commercials or our TV shows more views. I don't know if it's the same for actors. Maybe.
I mean, it's the same for us. We deal with it as well. I mean, I'm one of those people that's a thespian. You know, I have all of the theater training. I got my degrees in theater. I've done the work. You feel me?
Talk to me.
But ultimately, I watch these people who create skits get job opportunities knowing that they probably don't have the training that I have or have had the experience that I had, but because they do the skits and they get the following, they get the opportunities. And so it just seems like it takes longer for some actors who don't live in that world of trying to push this envelope of, oh, look at me, or make a video so people could either find it funny. I mean, because I always say this, even when you think about skits, it's every one of them is almost like it has to be funny.
Yeah.
I mean, how many skits do you see that people post that has a big following and they skits are just serious, or they do a drama skit or something? They don't do that because people don't want to watch that. Also, that causes for you to be a real actor.
What? Actor.
So
you have to actually.
But you know, a lot of people can easily do things to just be silly and be funny and get a following and come up with something that's going to make people laugh, because laughing captures people. So I think that's dope. But you know, for me, I just could never get with it. And speaking of that you just said that's a transition. You're transitioning out of dancing into acting.
Yes.
So how has that transition been for you, trying to now become a part of this acting world? Yeah. And you have booked opportunities. You just shot Raising Canaan. You got to join on that. Man. You did the REL movie. I know that was like crazy what happened with that, but you also were a part of that. So you are obviously grabbing the opportunities. In acting, but what do you think has been hard for you as far as transitioning?
Well, it's been a beautiful thing. I mean, it's definitely like, you know, juggling two things is definitely a hard thing. I think, well, to go back, for me, like being an only child, like I'm watching Jim Carrey, watching Robin Williams, watching Eddie Murphy, Martin Lawrence, Will Smith, Jamie Foxx, all these people, like being an only child and watching these, it kind of like, you know, nature versus nurture. You watch these things, it kind of builds your personality. So I naturally was just a silly, everybody knows me as a silly dude, right? Silly, like, you know what I'm saying? So I was like, you know what? My mom always like, and it's always go back to mom. Shout out to my mom, love her. Mom's always.
Shout out to moms, man.
Brenda
For
Smith.
all the moms out there. Brenda Smith, let's go.
Shout out to my dad too, Edgar Simon, you know what I'm saying?
Edgar Simon, shout out to Pop.
Love you guys. Yeah, man, it's just like, she always knew. She was like, you should just try acting. I just feel like, and then I was like, no, I don't know. Because I was so deep immersed in dancing. So that's what I think about. I would tell dancers or young dancers, like, you can't dance forever. Yeah. You're an athlete. Yeah. Kobe couldn't play basketball forever. Yeah. LeBron is different. He's 97 playing. I don't know how he's doing it. No, I'm kidding. He's different. But he's, you know what I mean? But you can't you can't dance forever, right? Yeah. So what other talents do you have? What other things can you do? And I feel like a lot of people get so immersed in the dance world and industry, they don't think about other things. Like, this will end soon. Yeah. And so for me, it was like after a tour got canceled a couple of years ago that crushed my soul. It just gave me a different outlook. It hurt my feelings, but it gave me a different outlook on like, oh, I'll never in my life put this much trust into, respectfully, an artist, because it put me in I won't say a bad place because it happened for a reason, but it put me in a very uncomfortable situation as far as like, you know, where was I going to go after this? I put all my eggs in this basket. You know what I mean? And so for acting now, it's like, oh, I have this acting talent. Oh, let me just put some eggs in here too, just in case, you know, and I know I can do it. So I've just been, you know, I got blessed, you know, with a manager. She put me on to, I auditioned for Daniel Hoff Agency. So shout out to Daniel Hoff Agency. I just got signed to them and I've been auditioning, but yeah, bro, it's like I was like scared to do it for so many years, but then once I like decided to do it, things started happening. Yeah. But it is weird though, because it's like, man, like dance, like I talked to my brother, shout out to my brother Michael. He was just like, you know, kind of dance is like kind of like, for me right now, it's kind of like my 9 to 5. I want to, like, not to say disrespectfully, but I love dance. I still want to dance, but I know I need to keep dancing and keep making this money. Yeah. But I also need to take this money and invest it into acting. Like, what can I invest this money into? The cameras, that's got set up with the nicest backdrop. Like, how can I invest this? So it's a gray area. It's a teeter-totter of like, right now it's like I'm on this job, but also it's like this agency's like, yo, like you got to do these auditions, right?
Yeah.
So now I'm like, okay, I got to figure out how to do both and timing wise. So it's been interesting, but I'm doing it well. I'm just trusting God, and it's been beautiful,
Okay.
But I mean, as a dancer, you kind of got to create a character on stage.
Yeah.
So I just use what I'm doing right now to create a character and practice what I'm about to get into, if that makes sense.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. I would say for you, now that you're approaching this avenue of acting, right?
Mm-hmm.
What is the hardest thing about acting for you?
I feel like, I mean, to be honest, I guess mentally, like being a 30-year-old man, being like, oh, I'm starting this career. I feel like I'm starting late. That's like the only thing where it's like, oh man, like I'm just now, starting to take classes and figure out where I am. But also, I feel like that's the thing where it's like, man, whatever, you can start it. What was it? Samuel Jackson got his first 45? I guess?
Morgan Freeman. A lot of these people started old.
Yeah, so it's like testimonies like that's been keeping me going. But for me, as far as like the acting itself and I guess the technique of it for dancers, we're so used to exuding emotion through our body, right? And I know when I practice with REL, he's like, yo, stay still. You don't have to like
too much energy.
I'm over here freestyling like, and then no, but shout out to you for like, always helping me with auditions, bro. But
appreciate it, brother.
They it's just like, I guess just holding in your emotions and not doing too much, but you could do a lot with your facials. It's just like your eyes, you don't have to be like the littlest thing can mean so much, especially close up. So I think that's been, I guess, my challenge, being from this dancer that exudes your emotions and also just being
giving so much energy
and giving so much, but also like I just got to a place where I wasn't scared of exuding or emoting. I think like, especially going back to being a black man in the South, we don't grow up knowing how to share our emotions and have an open space to share our emotions. So I feel like now I'm in a space where I don't care, and I feel like I'm in a spot where I can give into a character and not be scared to cry on camera, because it's like it's just something you have to do. But I really feel like if I was like 21, 22, I wouldn't be able to, because I'm like, I grew up, just
I mean,
like
a lot of acting comes from experience.
Exactly,
it comes from the experiences that you had. But I always try to tell anybody who I'm working with or actors that I'm training or whatever is like, just don't get caught acting. Like, just always remember to tell the truth, because that's all people really care about. I think sometimes we get so inside of our heads when we're trying to create a character. We're trying to, oh, he's supposed to do it like this. And I learned a long time ago, once you get a script, it's just a page full of lines. It's your job to create the character. It's your job to create the world around you, right? Yeah. So if you have this world in front of you, just create it and have fun doing it, but also tell the truth. Because if you're trying to do something, going for a laugh, or trying to have a serious moment, and you're like, I'm going to do it this way because I want it to be serious, like, that's not truthful. You might get there today on set or on stage and something go completely wrong. Yeah. But if you're truthful in the moment, it's going to come out truthful on stage.
Exactly.
You got to learn to adapt. So I think just continuing to be open, continuing to be vulnerable, continuing to, have specific choices that you have to find as an actor, because a lot of times that could be a problem too. But just trusting yourself, man. I think with that energy, you'll get pretty far. So
yeah, man, it's been beautiful.
You got a grip on this.
Acting's fun, man. Yeah. It's fun. It's like the job I'm doing right now is kind of like calling for, I guess, characters and stuff. We get a lot of play with like who we are, you know what I mean? So it's like, oh, like, who am I on the stage? What's the intention behind it? Like, why am I here? What's the artist feeling? How can I do certain things? I feel like it's made me a way better dancer as far as like my choices in between time, because as dancers, we have choreography, but also you have spots where it's like, oh, you have transitions to where if you get to an artist a certain way, you can act like this person, fix a jacket, make it look, your nose, like just little stuff. So now it's like, it's giving me like a lot of like leeway as far as like preparing myself, I guess, for characters, or just, being in the moment, like you said, just telling a story. Yeah.
Are you at a point now though that you feel like you've had the experience as an actor, you're making a transition? When do you say to yourself, hey, Jay, I'm just gonna let dancing go? This is my time. This is my time to say I've had my time. Is there anything else you want to accomplish? Or do you feel like you've done everything, so this transition you're finding it to be a little bit easier because at this point I've kind of done what I wanted to do?
No, yeah, for sure. I mean, yeah, that's a great question, bro. Like, to be honest, I've been at peace. Like, especially after the, because they say that as professional dancers, Super Bowl is kind of one of the top jobs you can do. World tours. I've done 2 Super Bowls, a world tour. Like, to be honest, I've been blessed to do it in a span of 8 years, right? Yeah. So it's like from like now what? You know what I mean? Yeah. What else can I do? And it's like I feel like dance was a train. I feel like I wasn't meant to be a dancer, but dance was a train to get me to LA, right? Yeah. So I'm completely at peace. I think as far as right now, it's just like, being on these jobs, and I feel like I've being like, I keep saying 30 because I'm still like, well, it's crazy, bro. But it's like I've recently accepted that, like, oh, I've been through experiences. I kind of know what I'm talking about. Yeah. I can share to these, 21, 22-year-olds what I've been through, how to move in rehearsals, what to do. And it's not like I'm trying to like say that I'm better, but I can share what I've done and what can help them get to like where I can be and where they see people getting to. So I think now it's more of like, when I'm on these jobs, and I think these jobs are definitely a blessing. So I'm not gonna not say no to these, but I'm also being picky and seeing like what like, I mean,
put the work in.
Discernment, but also discernment. Like, does God want me on this job? Why does God want me on this job? I'm kind of just following Him right now.
That's beautiful.
I feel like He's been really leading me to where I need to be. Sometimes it's harder than ever, where it's like, you sure I'm supposed to be here? Sometimes, and that's how God works, but you never know until the end. And also, I just feel like it's about staying like putting ego aside, staying true to like what's going on. Because I feel like everybody is going through something. And that's one thing I've noticed, like everybody is going through something, right?
Yeah, it's almost this energy that God will never give you more than you can handle.
Exactly.
And we have to be vessels to that, realizing that even when you think about your life, you trust in God. That's a beautiful thing to do, because where this path is going to lead you, it's almost like we make plans and God laughs, because it's like we don't know. Yeah. But you continue to trust and be a vessel for it, and it works for you. Yeah. And I think that that's beautiful.
For sure, bro. They say when you don't want something, everything comes to you. Yeah. It's like,
that's how it goes. It's almost like the auditions I shoot. The ones that I shoot and I don't care anymore, I get the callbacks. Like every time, the ones I shoot, and I be like, I gotta get this. It just never works. It's like that energy, man.
Even in school, even for like, shout out to the beautiful ladies out there. But no, it's like but it's funny because it's like even if you don't want something, it's like, dang, like once you get a girlfriend, it's like all the girls that you wanted. Just like it's probably the same thing with girls that got boyfriends. It's energy. It's like you don't want it and everything. So that's how I've not applied that necessarily to my life, but as far as like just trusting God and being like, oh, let me just like it's not that I don't care, but also fully trust Him. Because and like just open myself up to experiences, and not because it's easy to wake up with a plan and be like, I want this, I want to do like this, I want to do like this. But also like be open to like the detours and the surprises and every day, and just be like, oh, like I wasn't expecting this. Let's go ahead and do this and just go with it. And I think that's been working for me ever since I turned 30. I was just like, I'm gonna just flow and then
check.
Yeah, bro, it's been killing.
Let me ask you this last question, man, because I'm always interested to see what people say about this, and it could be very simple. It doesn't have to be dramatic. But just when you think about this, if you were art and you had to describe yourself, how would you describe art?
That's a good question.
If you are art and you have to describe it, how do you describe it?
As far as like what, like as far as just anything,
I'm simply just giving you a question. Art. That's why I say it doesn't have to be crazy, doesn't have to be long. Just if you are art and you have to describe it, how would you?
I would say very boisterous, like very, 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 very proud, very like I see. Well, when you said it, I see like a painting, like somebody like throwing paint on the wall, where as the people do those like if those paint they splash and like that's my career, that's who I am. It's like how did that even happen? Like how did you make this out of this wild throw? How did you make this beautiful canvas out of this wild throw? I think I'll explain myself where it's like I'm sometimes don't even know what I'm doing or how I'm doing it. And I think that's what God is. God is the painter. God is he's like, you may feel like you're out of this whack, but also at the end of the day, it's going to be this beautiful canvas at the end of the day. So I think he's the paintbrush. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I'm the picture, and it may feel crazy at first, but at the end of the day, it's all coming together, right?
Hey.
And that's how I'm feeling right now, and I feel like that's the artist I'm becoming. And so I'm just trusting the paintbrush, baby.
Hey, keep trusting the paintbrush,
Come
man.
on now.
This is my brother Jared Nathan. I'm so excited I got to sit down with you, man, and chop it up with you about life, about dance, about acting, about growing, about God.
Yeah.
It has been a beautiful thing, man. If you watching right now, man, give it up for my brother. He's in the building. Make sure you follow him. Let them know where they can check you out, man, if they not already following you, because he is a star.
I got you. Yeah, follow me at j.nate.com. I mean, not .com, that's crazy. j.nate. You got rewind that. At j.nate. Yeah, man, Instagram, j.nate, and then TikTok, I got some videos on there. You can go over there. But at j.nate, man. And yeah, man.
Let's get it. Hey, we appreciate y'all, man. This is another episode of
Real Talk. Yeah, V.
You know what I'm talking about? Yeah. Hey, man. Hey, tune in, man. Keep checking us out. We got great episodes ahead, man. But we thank you again to my brother J Nate, man.
Love you, bro.
You killing the game. I'm giving you your flowers. That's why I can.
Love you, dog.
Love you too, brother.
Shout out to REL, man.
Hey.
Shout out to REL. I appreciate you having me. Hey, check out REL Talk. It's about to be one of the hottest podcasts in LA, baby.
Yeah, V.
Stay tuned, man.
Hey,
he got something coming for y'all.
My God.
Yeah.
Hey, let this shit ride for a minute, man.